Breaking news, Columbia Green Federal Credit Union just saved our member $105 a month on their car payment.
That's no surprise. CGFCU helps our members save thousands.
Wait, thousands?
Yep, we have fantastic rates and flexible terms.
We save our members by refinancing autos, boats, campers, and even credit cards.
Apply today, see how much you can save.
Hey, welcome to the Press Box, presented by Columbia Green Federal Credit Union. Now, normally, the summer slows down a bit. We're out of the high school season, we're out of the state championships, we're out of all that, but there's still a lot going on. We have Little League, which is most of the District 15 championships have wrapped up. You're going into the Section 2 tournaments, but we have quite a few teams around here. Saugerties kind of ran through most of those District 15 tournaments, but a couple other teams did pretty well.
Saugerties is an amazing program, and that goes from the bottom on all the way up to the top. Yeah. I mean, at every age group, they won the District 15 championship as being Saugerties. In the 8 to 10-year-old age group, they won it in 9 to 11. But they didn't win it in 11 to 12 or 10 to 12. It's expanded now these days. That was Northern Columbia. Northern Columbia, under Coach Scott Holzhauer, did a great job. They actually lost to Saugerties in the pool play in the winners bracket. They came out of the losers bracket needing to beat Saugerties twice, and they did that. And it was very impressive because Saugerties, I saw them play Hudson. I saw them play Catskill. Just a very, very good team. You know, big kids, a lot of good hitters, some good pitchers. And I figured when I saw them, the first time, okay, looks like this is the team to beat. And they were one of the teams to beat, but Northern Columbia came through that losers bracket. In fact, the loss that they had during pool play to Saugerties, they lost 4-3. They controlled that game, and many people that I spoke with thought that Northern Columbia should have won that game, and they would have went through the winners bracket and probably went undefeated. But they
either way.
Yep, either way they got through it, and they beat Saugerties twice and went on to play in the regional play, the sectional play, the Section 2 South tournament, and they lost twice there, so they were eliminated. But still, just a great job, and a tip of the hat to Northern Columbia coach Scott Holzhauer and his crew. A lot of good kids on that team, and it's maybe the future Ichabod Crane team that we were watching. A couple of years down the line, they'll be playing high school ball, and some really good, talented kids on that squad, no doubt. So congrats to Northern Columbia 10 to 12-year-olds for winning District 15 this year.
Definitely. And moving on now, Little League has District 15, now you also have AAA.
Yes.
A little bit different, same rules and everything. You still have relatively the same age brackets, 10 to 8 to 10, and then 10 to 12. And kind of kills, if you're talking about the future, they look pretty bright too.
Yeah, they do. At both the younger age group and the older age group as well. Yeah, AAA, for those that don't know, that's for the teams that chose not to play in the district, the international tournament. The international tournament is the tournament that the teams compete and go on to play in the Little League World Series, where AAA is more of a kind of a local thing for some of the other teams that don't feel that they want to compete at that level. So and Takata Kills, to me, could compete at any level because they're a really good team. The 8 and 10 team, 8, 9, 10-year-old kids are doing well. I had a chance to watch the 10, 11, and 12-year-old team under some great coaches, good friends of ours, Sean Rao and Tommy Super, play, and I saw them beat Southern Columbia, and it's just a very good team. I mean, they know what to do with the ball once it's hit to them. I mean, they're good fielders, have some good pitching, good hitting. I mean, they run the base as well. I mean, a lot to like about that team. And so far, as we do this show, they're 4-0. They have 2 more games to play in pool play, and then they play in a championship tournament at the end. A couple of the teams, I believe it's the top 4. One plays one from the other bracket, and so on and so forth.
Single elimination.
Yeah, exactly. And then ultimately you have a champion of and the teams involved are from District 15 and District 13. So there's teams from Albany, a couple of teams from Albany in there. You got a team from Ravenna, which is Hudson Valley Little League. So some good quality competition there. Takata Kills is getting it done, man. I'm telling you.
Definitely.
Again, a team to watch in the future. A lot of good young talent there.
Yeah, there is. And now jumping ahead quite a bit, a few levels. Columbia Green has had some big news in the last couple of weeks.
A lot of signings.
Their basketball team, a lot of guys that you haven't heard of, which is normal around here because you're not going to see the guys from, I mean, we have a couple from Fallsburg, Ombudsman Charlie or Spackenkill. You're not going to see them playing in the Patroon. But we do have 2 guys that were, 3 years ago now, made Hudson brought them right to the state Final Four when Mike Alert and Danny Folds coming back.
Took Hudson further than they've ever been before, and before or since. And two of the guys that were instrumental in leading that team to the state Final Four a couple of years back, Mike Alert and Danny Folds. Not only just great players, great athletes, but great kids. These are the kind of kids that every team wants on their team. You know, as leaders, as kids that can get it done. You know, they get it done in the classroom, and I'm really excited to see that they're back in our local community playing, and so we can all get out and watch them. I mean, Mike Alert, okay, what can I say? I mean, here's a kid who is just a born leader. And I mean that not only on the basketball floor, this is a kid that's going to run a company, a big business someday. And whatever he chooses to do, he's going to do. And then you got Danny Folds, who's a tremendous musician as well. I mean, this kid can play the bass. I mean, he can sing. I mean, he did the national anthem a couple of times before a couple of Hudson High games. So, I'm definitely high on those two. That is a great foundation for Coach Brian Smith to build around. I know they lost a lot of guys to graduation and kids that have moved on since then. So there's still room for some kids to come in. But if you're going to build a team, I couldn't think of two better kids to build around than Mike Alert and Danny Folds.
And they're exciting kids to watch, too. And Danny Folds can throw down and dunk whenever he wants. Mike is really just a good player overall, all-around player. Now, the bad part is each of them just have 1 year left of eligibility. So this is the year really for them to make something of it, and I think that they both will.
I think they will too, because not only because of the talent, but because they have a lot. That's the kind of drive that they have anyway, and the fact that they have 1 year left to impress, and maybe if they want to go on and play at a higher level in the future, this is the time to do it. It's now or never. But Danny Folds, anytime I think of Danny Folds, I think of that play at the end of Glenn's Falls game. I'm telling you, I've been doing this for a while, Bri. I mean, you know, an old guy like me, I've been doing it for a while and seen a lot of action. But that play ranks to me is one of the great and most important plays I have seen. The steal that he had at the end of the Glens Falls game with Hudson trailing by one. Not only come up with the steal, he threw it down at the other end, and Hudson took the lead and never looked back, and that won them the Section 2 title. First time in 42 years. And that play always comes to mind. Anytime I hear the name Danny Folds, I think of that. And hats off to Danny. He's a tremendous athlete. And again, him and Mike, both back in the area playing at Columbia Green. I hope a lot of fans will come out and watch them play because they're
your last chance to see him play at a collegiate level too in the area. I mean, they could go on and play somewhere else, but right here in your own backyard, you're not going to get that.
No doubt,
anymore.
It's going to be a great time.
Now, also on the baseball team, they had a signing recently. Lots of local guys. They have a new coach in Skip Ingham, who's been there forever. Anyways, he's been an assistant coach. He's been bounced around quite a bit. Always in the mix with the Columbia Green baseball team. So they brought back, they're bringing onto the team Jeremy Ramirez, Josh Ramirez. You have Steve Bowes, Matt Sweet, all from Hudson. So 4 Hudson guys that won the Troon Conference this year.
Yes, they did.
And then you have Nick Ryan from Cara Durham, who's a very good player. Joe Gosiewski from Arlington. A little bit out there. And Sean Berry from Red Hook. So a pretty good, very good core of guys, especially I think Jeremy Ramirez and Steve Bowes would probably highlight that group.
Right. And Columbia Green's had, let's be honest, had a couple of lean years the past few years, no doubt about that in terms of wins and losses. But they're always there, and they'll always show up to play. But Skip Ingham now, he's the man. He's going to turn this thing around. Just give him a little time, and he will do it. I mean, again, look at this class that he just brought in. His first class bringing in as head coach at Columbia Green. And he brought in 4 kids from a team that's won the Patroon Conference Championship 3 years in a row, including a great kid, Jeremy Ramirez, who was the MVP of the Patroon Conference this year. Here's a kid that can pitch, he can play shortstop, and he can hit. Another kid that that's a triple threat. I mean, he can do it all. And Josh, his brother, is a great outfielder. I mean, and a good hitter in his own right. And Matt Sweet, who had a tremendous last couple of years, his varsity career, his junior and senior years. Again, an all-conference player. And then, of course, you got Steve Bowes. Now, Steve is a coach's son, so he knows the game inside and out. And I'll tell you, by the end of the year, to me, he was one of, if not the best pitcher in the Patroon Conference.
Yeah, he came on.
He did
on really well.
Coach Bowes used him in big time situations, and he came up big. Maybe the best game I've seen him pitch was the game that ended the season for Hudson when they lost to Ichabod Crane, which went on to play for the Class B title in that Section 2 Class B semifinal game between Ichabod Crane and Hudson. He threw a gem and would have won 99% of the time playing or pitching the way he did. But it didn't go Hudson's way that time. They couldn't get the key hit when they needed it. But Stevie Bowes is going to be a key player for that Columbia Green team on the mound, and he can hit a little bit too. So, and then you got the other kids that are coming in as well, and Nick Ryan from Carroll Durham, a good player there. And the other kid from Arlington, Gosnewski, and Sean Berry from Red Hook. Hey, that
it's
is
a great core. Yeah, great core to work around, and hopefully they bring a couple guys back from this past year and
for sure
make a good go of it. Now, the AD over there, Richie Lindo, has done really well. She came in after Walter Ricard a few years ago, and she just keeps bringing teams out. She's giving Columbia Green students a lot of opportunities to play wherever you want. I mean, she brought a track team in, doesn't have many people on it.
Not yet.
The women's basketball team, which... In 2 years in it, they're one of the best teams in the area.
Right, played for the Region 3 championship.
Just this year in their second year. They have one of the best players probably in the country.
Yeah, Tanisha Edge.
Tanisha Edge. Yeah. And now they're bringing in a women's soccer team, which starts on August 25th. So big things over at Columbia Green in terms of sports. Excited to see how the soccer team does.
Yeah,
I think they took a full year to really get the recruiting going and do it the right way instead of doing, okay, we're going to hire a coach in August and they're going to start 2 weeks later and throw a team together. They took their time, found a good coach, put the team together, hopefully have a good season starting out.
And it's always been said that it's tough to recruit to Columbia Green simply because of the housing situation. You don't have the dorms on campus that the kids can come and stay at. But somehow it's they do get the good athletes in there, and it's been proven you can win at a high level at Columbia Green at every sport level. I mean, you had men's soccer there. I remember back in the 90s they had a great team back there. They struggled, then they became great, and then the program just went away. But hopefully in the women's soccer team as well, a good solid team, and then it went away. But Richie's bringing it back, and that's great to see, because a lot of times at a lot of schools, program will fade out, never to be seen again. But that's not happening here. They're going to revive that soccer program and the women's soccer to begin with, and I think they're going to have a good thing there.
I think so.
Get the right people in place, and you have the right people in place there, and you can win for sure.
Definitely, and it's good to see any college bringing sports in instead of cutting them, because around the country,
that's rare.
That's the biggest cuts are coming straight from the sports programs.
No
just
doubt.
The most money that they can save. Now, bouncing around quickly, last topic is some MMA. We have a couple guys that are doing really well.
Let's talk some MMA.
So, just recently, Trent Spangala, two-time state champion, goes in there first amateur MMA fight, doesn't get paid for it, anything like that, and this is going into a high school. He'll be a senior this year. It can be a little intimidating, even though you've been on the big stage, competing at the Times Union Center, winning 2 state championships.
Yeah.
Different game. Goes in there, first round, submission, pretty much dominates the whole thing.
Now, you were telling me about this the other day. I didn't even know about this. What exactly happened? So he fought this guy who was kind of pretty much calling him out on social media.
Yeah, which doesn't seem like a really good idea when you're going up against a 2-time state champion wrestler who has a boxing background, has an MMA background, jiu-jitsu.
He didn't even know this guy, right? It's not like they knew each other or had a history or anything. I mean, how much history can you have when you're dealing with a teenager in a high school level? I mean,
I think that's the worst part about some of the social media. These guys are so accessible. Yeah. You can throw them an instant message or whatever on Facebook or Instagram or wherever you go. Throw a couple trash talking comments, and all of a sudden you wind up in the cage with them because you talked your way into it.
But this guy was relentless about it, right? The guy
for
that
months,
he just wouldn't let him go. And Trent was trying to let it go, but no, okay, you want to do something, so let's
do it the right way. And didn't turn out well for him, so we'll just leave it at that. But it was a pretty convincing win in his first amateur MMA fight for Trent. And if that's something that he wishes to pursue down the line, he's going to be going to a Division I college for wrestling. After that, who knows? That could be a career path for him.
So, I'm certainly, excuse me, I follow boxing a lot more and a lot closer than I follow MMA. Right. But from what I saw, hey, Trent, you got a future right there, my man. I mean, he was, because what did it last, a couple of minutes? This battle against, and the kid was from like the western part of the state, right?
Yeah, I think he's bounced around,
And and he just decided to call out a 2-time state wrestling champion, he sure got what he was looking for, didn't he?
Hopefully. So, then we also have Mike Davis, who's originally from Cairo. He trained over in Hudson to start out his career. He trained in Catskill at the Custom Gym for a little bit too.
Yes.
professional boxer and professional MMA guy, undefeated in both, 3-0 as a boxer, 5-0 as MMA,
Right.
5 stoppages. Mike came on the show a few weeks ago, talked about this fight that he has coming up. This is a career-making fight for him.
doubt.
Getting his big shot on the UFC. It's going to be on the UFC Fight Pass on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series.
Right.
Now you can get the Tuesday Night Contender Series on the UFC Fight Pass. You can sign up for, I think, a few days of a free trial if you want.
Sure.
You can go that way. Or Mike just posted something, $4.99. You get the whole Fight Pass. It's a season for the Tuesday Night Contender Series. It's a big season-long thing. So
it's worth it.
Spend $4.99. You get to see Mike fight on Tuesday night. And he's fighting at 145, fighting a kid named Sadiq Yusuf, 6-1. Mike, one of the most hardworking guys I've ever seen. If you watch some of his Facebook, YouTube, Instagram channels that he has, I mean, he doesn't leave the gym. He's always running, training, boxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling. He's there.
And he's just so good at what he does.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's a small body of work. You say, well, five fights. But his 5 fights, he's looked so impressive.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he is on this Fight Pass package. I mean, because they know what he's capable of. And I think, as you mentioned, this is going to be his shining moment. This is going to be where, okay, we know about him around here, and all his friends and family know about him, and down in Florida where he's been. But I think the world's going to find out about Mr. Mike Davis. You know, he's definitely a star on the rise, and I think it all starts on Tuesday for him. As far as like getting out there and all sorts of. He's one of those guys too, as we mentioned in the past. Talked about. He's probably going to make a fortune in endorsements because he's got that kind of personality. I mean, so
well spoken, articulate, great person to throw your company behind if that's what you're doing.
Tremendous.
So I don't think it gets better than Mike. And Mike's biggest problem, he's fought his first professional fight about 3 years ago. Again, he's 8 professional fights between boxing and MMA. Can't find an opponent. He's had
get in the ring with him?
about 10 different fights that just fall through because guys end up seeing Mike, and that's it. They don't want to fight him anymore. It's hard for him to make fights starting out. When you're in the UFC, they're going to find you a fight. They're going to get a guy, other guys that have the same mindset of you. They want to fight, and if they don't, well, they're going to have to because what Dana White says goes. And he's going to have some fights coming up.
And Mike's of the mindset, bring him on. I don't care who it is. Yeah, I think he would. You put anybody in front, whether it's just this Sadiq fella or whoever, somebody with a lot of experience, bring him on. He has no fear, and why should he? I mean, he's tremendous at what he does. And I think he's, like I say, this is just going to be opening the door for him for a lot of big things coming Mike Davis's way.
Yeah, that's something to look forward to, and hopefully we can get him on again down the road. Again, one of the best athletes that we have around here. We have a number of guys. Also, quickly before we go, Maple Hill, Jamie Schultz, in the major leagues, got his first win the other night, so congratulations to Jamie. One of the best Patroon Conference pitchers to come out of here to make it to the pros, and he's just doing really well with the opportunity that he's been given. So good luck to him going forward. He's still with the Rays at this moment. He's back up there, so he's doing well. Good
I
for
think
these
he's
guys.
up there to stay.
Yeah,
he's made a name for himself already.
Definitely. And we'll see you next week on the Press Box, presented by Columbia Green Federal Credit Union.